Hi everybody, this is Lara at Pure Elliott Wave with another update of a small cryptocurrency for you today. I'm going to update my analysis for Chainlink. It's been a really long time, over a year I think, since I took a look at this one. So I've updated my data. I haven't updated the charts. Let's just get rid of that. Let's have a look. What did I have for this? I was looking for the end of a primary degree fifth wave to complete a cycle degree first wave. My target was inadequate. Oh no, it was way too high, 90.97. But it did go up and it did go down. Is there a Fibonacci ratio between primary 3 and 1 or 5? Let's have a quick look just for interest's sake. Primary 5 is just a little short of 2.618, the length of primary 3, but it's not close enough for them to be considered to have a Fibonacci ratio. So it's a lot shorter than I'd expected, but it did go up and then it did go down, and it's going down really hard today, as they all are. I think the low is pretty close. So here's the invalidation point now, all the way back down at the beginning. So cycle 2 may not move beyond the start of 1. Let's have a look and see how deep these second wave corrections have been in the past. So this is 97% correction. Primary 2 is 97% of primary 1. And intermediate 2 is a 98% correction of intermediate wave 1. Really deep second waves. How deep are the fourth waves? This is a 69% correction of intermediate 3, and primary 4 really shallow. 63%, so not actually really shallow, but it looks like it because this is a semi-log scale. Okay, intermediate 5 looks like a pretty good 5-wave impulse. I'll put that there. Cycle wave 1 over. I don't know how I'm going to see this. Okay, the question is cycle 2 over? I think this might actually be a double zigzag, not a single zigzag. I think this subdivides best, yeah, as a zigzag over here, and then this is an impulse. No, not like that motive wave, like this, and here. Okay, and then this looks like a good looking zigzag, and then could A be a leading contracting diagonal? Yep. That looks really good. Looks like the trend lines are beautifully adhered to, and the 1-3 trend line has a nice overshoot. And so intermediate B looks like a good zigzag. Is there a ratio between intermediate A and C if C is over? No. C is shorter than 0.618, the length of A, and longer than 0.382. How much though? No, more than 10% variation. Okay, there doesn't have to be, it's just curious when there is. Let's take a look. I'm going to delete these. Save that and create a daily chart from this. And I'm going to focus on intermediate C. I'm not going to worry about the subdivisions of prior movement because otherwise this video would be too long. No, I want to see this over here, and this here, and this here, and here. I think I can see a little impulse here for one. I think I want to see that here. Let's expand this out. And then this here. And here's an impulse. Oh no, no. because 2 can't move beyond the start of 1, so I'll put that here. either way, I think I want to put... makes a difference, doesn't it? Let's see how the third wave's going to subdivide. Oh, probably really well. Or is it? Maybe you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, that looks okay. It could be over. If not here, it could be over really soon. There's a huge bullish wick developing and a strong hammer candlestick pattern developing on today's candlestick. If it's over here, let's go back to the weekly chart and see what would the depth of cycle 2 be in relation to 1. 89.5%, so 90%, getting certainly close to a normal range of 80 to 90%. For this one, as we looked through at the beginning of this video, we looked at the depth of primary 2 and intermediate 2, and they were both, what were they, 97, 98%? Really, really deep. So this almost 90%, absolutely within the ballpark. Certainly could go lower. Absolutely could go a bit lower, but I think the lowers probably sooner rather than later. Now what I want to do for this one, I want to have a look now at the technicals around these prior lows. I want to have a look at, on the weekly chart, I'm going to show you which lows I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at this low, November 2017, this low, June 2018. I think I'm also going to look at this one here, December 2018. I think I'm also going to look at this one here, September 2019, here, March 2020. I'm going to have a look at what did the technicals look like at these important lows, these deep lows, and compare and contrast that to today's low, to try and answer the question, could there be a sustainable low here or very soon? So let's start at the beginning. And I'm going to use the usual technical analysis indicators that I prefer to use, particularly RSI and ADX, and volume and candlestick patterns. So this low here, this is the first one, November 2017, at this low here at 0.182296, how did these indicators behave? RSI did not reach oversold, but it did exhibit some bullish divergence. Here prices made a lower low, but RSI has made a higher low. So, bullish divergence, but it didn't reach oversold. ADX, what did ADX do? At the time it was saying there was a downward trend, possibly. It might not have been at 15, but ADX was rising and coming up from below both DX lines, and the negative DX line was above the positive. So if it had reached 15, it would have then indicated a downward trend. So this downward trend, ADX spent all that time catching up to the trend, because it started from a place of an extreme upward trend. At the low, this next candlestick, let's just pull this down and see. This is not a bullish engulfing, it might have been a piercing pattern. Did it have support from volume? No, it did not. It's not until 3 days later we start to see support from volume, and then here the volume profile changes to bullish, by which I mean bullish sessions or days are much stronger than downward sessions or bearish sessions or days. So by the time we get to this point here, we're seeing a bullish volume profile, and it starts here but not on the very next day off the low. That's interesting. That would have been really hard to identify. And then RSI reaches overbought, and it can remain there while price moves a considerable distance. Scrolling along, I'm just looking, RSI reaches oversold here. What was this low? April 2018 on the larger chart. Where's that? Here, this RSI reaches oversold down here. That's interesting. That wasn't the major low. And so by the time we get to this low here, again, no bullish divergence between price and RSI. RSI reaches oversold here, and then there's a big reaction, and then the downward trend continues. And now RSI reaches oversold. So it reaches oversold here on this session here. Which one? This one, on this session. And yet price falls a reasonable distance for just over 2 weeks. So RSI reaches oversold, and 2 weeks later there was a major sustainable low. So it can continue after reaching oversold. Volume pushes price higher at the end of the upward movement, declines at the end, and then declines throughout as price falls. Weakness and downward movement. Doesn't mean it can't continue a considerable distance though. ADX for this downward trend reaches very extreme, above 45 and above both DX lines at the end of the downward trend. So ADX extreme and RSI extreme at the June 29, 2018 low. That's this one, the second really big, deep, over 98% correction. Okay, where's the next one? Here's the next one. RSI, not quite oversold, very, very close. ADX not extreme. Volume declining as price falls. The very first upward day off the low. 2.2 million volume here. 2.3, slight decline in volume on a bullish candlestick pattern. Again, we don't start to see a bullish volume profile until several days after that low. And here we see it. And now we see a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Interesting. So not necessarily seeing bullish candlestick patterns and not necessarily having support from volume. That makes these lows really difficult to identify. The next one, 13th of September 2019, where's that on the bigger picture? I think that's this one, week beginning 8th of September. This low down here, we're looking at this big low now, this is important. Downward movement finished on a downward session with push from volume. ADX indicated a downward trend but was not extreme. RSI just reaches oversold. No bullish divergence at the low. The first green candlestick up off the low has declining volume. It's not until a few days later here that we start to see push from volume and switch to a bullish volume profile. But this would have been very confusing. An outside session, volume balance probably down, strong push from volume. That would have been really bearish, especially when you've got another downward session here. But now volume is seriously declining compared to the prior upward day. This again would have been hard to identify. Where's the next one? I think this might be the last one, 13th of March 2020. Yeah, this is the last one we're going to look at. How did the technicals behave here? A strong downward session here with some push from volume, but overall volume declining. RSI reaches oversold on the day before the low. The day of the low, a bullish candlestick wick. Overall upward movement during the session, or within the session, push from volume. So this is bullish, but I don't think this wick is long enough for it to be a hammer pattern. And then we still don't see a bullish volume profile until here, quite a while after the low, and it moves off the low slowly. Okay, that would have been hard to identify as well. I think the one thing we're noticing here, RSI reaching oversold, doesn't tend to remain there for too long, although there was that one time it reached oversold and the low wasn't met 2 weeks later. So what's the current situation? Let's have a look. Downward session, push from volume, although this session is incomplete, so we need to wait and see until the session is complete before we can conclude what the volume data is saying. But here volume is pushing price lower. RSI has been oversold a little while. Okay, it got oversold back here on this session. How many days ago was that? 12 sessions ago. It's more deeply oversold now. This usually, or given past price history with these indicators, that coincides with a sustainable low forming. So I think this Elliott wave count could very well be correct. I think we could be seeing a sustainable low form, if not today, then much sooner rather than later, within the next 2 or 3 days possibly for Chainlink. That's the conclusion of my analysis for this one. I think again it might possibly be a good purchase. It's under $5 or $6 at the moment. This could be a good one to chuck just a little bit of money at again. I think I might be buying a little bit of cryptocurrency again this week. I'll go through some charts and I might pick maybe 3 or 4 to just put a little bit more money into, something I already have, and add to my little collection there. And I think I might go through that analysis with you in the next couple of days. So rather than working through my list, I think I might share with you what I'm choosing to buy this week. And hopefully someone's going to find that helpful. Okay, that's all from me with your Chainlink analysis. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I have my Learn Pure Elliott Wave online course on special this week. Just a few days left to go of that, actually 3.5 days left to go of that. No, 40% off, $236 compared to a normal price of $395. So if you want to learn Elliott Wave and you learn by video and you're a kinesthetic learner, you learn by doing, then that's the course that should be helping you. Thank you so much for all of your support.